morning, everybody. Rico, pipsqueak. We're out here with Milo, our pig. Hey, Mano, and Quincy, our Rottweiler, and all the parrots. Hey, Leanne, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Let's focus on something a little more interesting. Nicole, good morning. Good morning, guys. Welcome to another episode of Coffee with the Critters. Today, my coffee mug. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Eva. Good morning, Sean. Eva, I wanted to say I love that little cartoon you put up with the dog or the bird with the morning Manda with the cookie and the coffee. Some of you guys get really creative with your coffee photos for Coffee with the Critters, and it makes me smile. Good morning, Bobby. Yes, Tracy. So this morning's coffee mug, I need to start getting some different coffee mugs because I like to represent different organizations that I support with my coffee mugs. Good morning, Erin. There's a long time no see. And Adrian. Yay. Save the bats. Ashley. Yeah. Good morning, Brianna from Papayago and Sharon. Thanks for bearing with me lately, guys. I know when I have family in town, good morning, Janet, good morning, Susie. When I have family in town, it's tough because I need to get up. I need to get up. I usually get up at 6:30 in the morning, get my mind going. What are we going to talk about today? I already had this picked out a couple days ago. Good morning, Sandy. So yeah. Welcome to another episode of Coffee with the Critters. We're going on over 2+ years of doing this almost every Sunday morning, except for when family's in town. And I have family in town this morning, but I'm like, I can still do this. Because I don't like missing an episode. I really enjoy these live streams and enjoy seeing you guys every Sunday morning. Here comes Rico. And going to his station, right on cue. Coffee with the Critters has started. So for those that are unfamiliar, I got to keep an eye on because I've got Milo, the pig. Hey, Milo, why don't you go to your station? Good boy. I've got Milo, the mini pig out here, and Quincy, our Rottweiler. Because, nice job. Because they're going to come into play with what we're talking about today. And every time I start a Coffee with the Critters, I'm like, who are the best candidates that can best represent this topic? So today I picked Milo, Quincy, and all the parrots. For those of you that are new to Coffee with the Critters, my name's Lara Joseph, owner of the Animal Behavior Center. We are good. I always take a break. Reinforce desired behavior. Reinforced behavior I want to see increase. We're an international educational center teaching people about using positive reinforcement and applied behavior analysis with animals. And we put applied behavior analysis in layman's terms because a lot of times we can lose the opportunity to share very important information if we use scientific terminology and it goes over their heads. So what we focus on here at the Animal Behavior Center is putting the science of behavior, into understandable, everyday terms so everybody can benefit from it, because when you know better, you do better. Take a sip of coffee. I do this every Sunday morning. Pour myself a cup and I never touch it. So yeah, I've got so much to talk about, I don't even know where to start. I've got to keep an eye on what's going on behind me, because behavior, I don't want to miss the opportunity to reinforce desired behavior, because if Milo comes off that station, good, and my eyes are turned and he gets too close to Quincy, undesired behavior can happen. So yes, I am always paying attention. Sharon Collins. Am I always training? Yeah, I can't help but not, because training using positive reinforcement and applied behavior analysis is the best form of communication I have found with any animal. And this is why I say This is why I say if that animal can see, hear, smell, or feel you, good boy. You are training, whether you realize it or not. The key question is, what are you training? And who was it in the membership? Was it you, Brianna, that took that screen capture of me going, what are we training? Let me go ahead, because I've planned for this. Hi, Rico. So Milo's on his station. I've got to take my eyes off of these two to be able to deliver quality content to you guys. So I'm going to set this up so undesired behavior can't happen or less likely to happen. Let's see. Up. Up, little girl. Up. What? Oh, good. Before we go too much further, I wanted to test something. Hey, Sylvia, I wanted to test something and see if you guys would help me out. Toot, toot, toot. There's Coco. Okay, so you guys said I needed a mic, so I bought two. I bought one for the live streams that will do distance. So when I am out away from the camera, everybody's giving the hearts. So I'm away from the camera. You can hear me at a distance. And I bought this one for Coffee with the Critters. So I have not tried it yet. You guys want to help me? Let me know if you see a sound difference. I take it everybody likes the fact that I got some mics. Let's see if I can get this attached correctly, whatever that may be. Okay, ready? Tell me, hey, Pat, yay! So I asked you guys for your input on whether I need a mic or not, and you said absolutely. So I am going to plug this in. Tell me, I got this mic. It's got a lot of high ratings, and our social media director here, the awesome Crystal Phelps, researched it and found two different ones, and I bought them both. I'm going to plug this in. Tell me if you see a sound difference. Okay, what do you think? I didn't read the instructions. I don't do that. Can you guys hear a difference? Yes? No? Yes? Just yes, you can. A major difference? Good. Okay. So you can, oh yeah, much louder. Oh, that may not be a good thing in this room. Hey, Brandy. Okay, much better. Well, there you go. My only problem is, you guys know how I say big difference. Okay, well, that'll be my positive reinforcer for continuing to use it. Hopefully, we'll see. Gonna have to let me know how that works with the parrots. Huge. Okay, well, my only problem with this is, and here's where applied behavior analysis comes into play, and science of behavior. Guess what? Now I'm attached to the camera and restricted. And we know what restriction and lack of choice does to behavior. It can easily, yeah, I know. It can easily positively punish behavior. So I got to make sure that doesn't happen. Good morning, Tambry. Yeah, I'm tethered to the camera. So I can only go this far away from you. But I can take the camera with me. So anyways, thank you guys for your input on the mic. Let's see if this behavior is reinforced. So the other one I bought is for distance. And I bought this for our memberships and our projects because I'm often training at a huge distance. So this will pick up, like when you guys joined me or didn't join me in the, oh, that was in the Parrot Project, sorry, at the Northwest Bird Expo. Anyways, oh, you like my hair this way. This is a result of swimming in a pool and not doing anything with it. Okay, So there's a reason I picked the topic of working with the terrible twos. Be careful. How's that sound with the parrots? Because we know motor mouth back there is going to continue that through the rest of this live stream. Be careful with using the term the terrible twos. It's one of the ones I hear all the time, and it's one of my biggest pet peeves. Yeah, I know about the Bluetooth ones, but I don't think they got as high enough ratings. If you guys have experience with them, let me know. Okay, so be careful with the term the terrible twos. You want to come back down on your station? I'm sorry. So here's an example of, I don't mind him being there, I don't care, but he was probably sitting on his station and I was paying attention to the camera instead of him, so the behavior that I wanted, what? Stopped being reinforced, so it didn't happen. There's several reasons I brought this up today about the terrible twos. The terrible twos is a label, and I know we've talked about labels before, and we're getting ready to dive deep into labels in the membership program. But do I use labels? Yes, I do. Labels describe they're adjectives that describe behavior, and the problems such as let's see the ones we usually get: pigs, bullheaded. What's another label for pigs? Bullheaded, ornery, stubborn, aggressive. What other ones do we have? Do we have any pig people in here? And that's a label, okay? Label with dogs. Quincy, our Rottweiler, could be, there's Milo going back to a behavior that he knows that brings reinforcement, so he's checking it out. Bobby, dangerous. Yes, that's a good one. Another one with dogs I hear all the time, stubborn. That's why when people use the term unpredictable, good. That's a good one, Bobby. I love it when people tell me animals are unpredictable. And I'm like, if you're saying your animal is unpredictable, it's probably based on human behavior being unpredictable to the animal. And that using that label, unpredictable, usually comes from intermittent schedules of reinforcement, meaning undesired behavior is reinforced once in a while. So that's why we always say here, as soon as you turn that knob to excitable, yes, as soon as you turn that knob to walk in this door, you're already starting to train. What are you training? Because as soon as you open that door, you're probably reinforcing behavior on the other side of this door. We are the Animal Behavior Center for a reason. We are not a zoo. We don't allow people to come through here and check the place out because, I mean, we do on certain events, but people get us... a lot of times, people just want to check the place out. Well, this can be a dangerous place to be. Oh, wow! Sorry, got my mic on. I'll try to remember that. Nice job, Pipsqueak. What do you think? We are the behavior center for a reason. Most of the animals that are here, most of them, not all of them, are here because they've lost their homes for one reason or another. I study the science of behavior and I apply it to all the animals here, and I'm really focused on changing behavior. What? And people coming through here that just want to see and pet cute animals or uncute animals, that's not what we're about. We are an educational center. Tickle wickle! That's right, Rock. So just one encounter of somebody coming through here not knowing what they are doing can definitely have an impact on behavior here. That's why we don't promote it. Good job. Take your time there. So I'm starting to work with a client that has a puppy. And I was on the phone with her yesterday, and this puppy is probably 10 weeks old by now. And I'm like, you cannot begin the training fast enough. And so I know a lot of people will say, oh, they'll pass off behavior saying, oh, it's just the terrible twos. Be careful with that. I do not believe in the terrible twos. I don't think there's anything terrible about the twos. This is a nice job, Rico. Cue to me. He just flew to the ground. He's looking for attention. Let's go look at what he's doing. What are you doing, Pipsqueak? Coco! What are you doing, Pipsqueak? So the fact that he flew to the ground is a cue to me that either desirable or undesirable behavior is getting ready to happen. Because if he stops getting attention, he will start screaming. You want to make sure you don't reinforce that, and even turning around and looking. You're a dork. He knows the camera. And he's staring at himself. So even looking at him can reinforce that scream. But so in order to change an undesired behavior, another behavior needs to replace the undesired behavior. So we took the what? He is totally working for attention right now. Coco! So we taught him. We saw when the undesired behavior would happen, he would fly to the ground when people came in and if they didn't pay attention to him. Then he starts screaming. So instead, good morning, Sandy, we taught him to fly to the ground and toss pieces of wood toys that are on the ground. And if we hear him tossing toys, then we stand up and clap, tell him good boy. And that was, so when I heard him fly to the ground, there was some negative reinforcement in there, meaning I stood up, I stopped sitting, and to avoid a potential consequence of him screaming, good morning, Summer, I came over here and paid attention to what he was doing to take advantage of that opportunity if he was going to toss something. So not only do I train animals, they train me as well. It's a two-way street here. It's not all about me and the behaviors I want to see increase. So definitely I let the animals train me as well. So Quincy's over there foraging, replacement behavior, and preventing a potential undesirable behavior happening here. So with the terrible twos, like I said, there's nothing terrible about them. Those are young ages when animals are learning. They're experimenting with their environment. Am I going to get anything done today? They're experimenting with their environment, and they're manipulating their environment. Manipulation is not a bad word. They're interacting with their environment, rearranging things in their environment. This is their environment, a medium environment or larger environment. They're manipulating and seeing what different outcomes they can get. That is a young, fresh mind that is learning. The key is it learning? Is it learning what you want it to learn? because those behaviors they learn at that young age tend to carry on. It's some of the first behaviors they've ever learned, and they will continue to do a lot of those behaviors. So a lot of people, what do you think, Rock? Will just, if they see undesired behavior in their animals, you can hear the label use terrible twos very big in the dog environment. What? Definitely in the pig environment, in the parrot environment. I'm sure it exists. Hi. What? I'm sure it exists with all animals, the terrible twos. But that is a label. When I hear somebody use it, in my head, I'm exploding. But what I'm doing, I'm looking at you going, we need to work on this. So take advantage. Rocky, that is so pretty. Peekaboo. Take advantage of those very young years. That's a very impressionable time for that animal. I love you, Rocky. That's a very impressionable time for that animal. And like I said, I can't get to those animals soon enough. I was thinking about bringing Snow. Peekaboo! Snow is our deaf and blind puppy who is under a year. I believe she's 10 months old. Chucklehead in the background. Hey, thanks, Bobby. Yeah. Rock and roll. In the Snow Project, it's all about Snow's training. It's not about training a deaf and blind dog. It's about using applied. That is causing me to be extremely creative, because this is a dog that is lacking 2 of her senses. She cannot see, she cannot hear. So how am I communicating with that animal? She is 10 months old. Good job. Peekaboo, you rock. You too, Rico. She is 10 months old. She is learning. And sometimes she picks up things quicker than Levi and Quincy. I had family over here. What? Why you gotta be so stinking cute? I had family over here last night, and there goes Rico. Nice job, Pipsqueak. Remind me. Differential reinforcement at play right now. Wow! Go, Rico! So did you guys see? He flew to the ground, and then the undesired behavior happened. Hi! Hi! What are you doing? Why don't you go toss it, Rico? Can you toss it? Toss it! So he flew to the ground. The undesired behavior of screaming happened. And what I tried to do was put it on a level of extinction, meaning ignoring it, but at the same time waiting for a desirable behavior to happen and then reinforce that. What are you thinking, Rocky? I think we're going to get a sound explosion here for a couple of seconds. Bear with me, it won't last long. Okay, see, told you. So with the terrible twos and Snow, the family was over here last night. Yeah. The family was over. My family was here last night, and I had Snow out on the deck with us, and they kept saying, "Wow, I can't. She's amazing." And I'm like, "She is amazing, yeah." But I taught her from a very young age. Do you remember Snow? I know you guys are saying some things. If I don't address them in this live stream, what I do as soon as this live stream's over, I come back and I go through and I answer questions. Remember when I went down to pick up Snow? I found out about Snow, I believe, when she was 10 or 11 weeks old, and I said, "I'll adopt this puppy if you'll accept me." And I said, "Can you drive this dog up to Ohio from North Carolina for me?" And she said, "Yes, absolutely, but it's going to take me a couple of weeks." And I said, "Forget it, I'm on my way." Because she was already 11 weeks old. and I could not get to her. Hey, Puff. I could not get to her fast enough because she's already learning. She's already learning. Is she learning what I want her to learn? Is she learning desirable behaviors or undesirable behaviors? And here's a clear example. I couldn't get to her fast enough, so I drove down the next weekend. My husband and I made a weekend trip out of it and brought Snow back from North Carolina. And I have been training her almost every single day since. That you're all training. Each time you're interacting with your animal, you're all training. It's just, what are you training it to do? Good. So I'm moving on to a higher valued reinforcer. Hey, Lori. And I got a pig desperately trying to get my attention. So here's an example. Do you guys remember those that followed Snow right from the get-go before I even... I was watching, once I decided to adopt Snow, I was watching the live streams that the foster was doing, Lena, and I love Lena. She does fantastic work, and she's great at fostering and doing shelter work, and I commend her. I was watching the live streams, and I would see Snow in the background. They're always learning, that young, impressionable mind. Do you guys remember Rhonda? Yeah, what was she doing? She was going and picking up shoes and shaking them and running around the house, and I'm sitting there watching it going, oh no. So she's learning shoes are toys. To this day, I've had Snow less than a year. We still have to pick up our shoes off the ground because she learned that from a very young age. Cockatoo, cockatoo. She learned that from a very young age, and a lot of times when animals learn something, an undesirable behavior like that, you can change it. And we'll talk about this in the future, counter conditioning. You can change that, but if other behaviors don't keep your animal's attention long enough, undesired behaviors are going to resurge. They're going to go back and start behaving and practicing and doing. What are you talking about, Rocky? How can you not love cockatoos, right? What often happens if they learn an undesired behavior, many times, not all the time, many times that the undesired behavior then has to be on a maintenance program, meaning you will constantly have to watch for that undesired behavior to happen again, making sure it doesn't happen again. And that's called resurgence. Resurgence is when a positive reinforcer for an alternate behavior, a desired behavior, stops happening. The animal will resurge and start going back to behaviors that formerly brought positive reinforcement. And it's probably not something you're going to like, right? So that is why, and I want to do some training with Milo and Quincy for you too, and the birds. Coco, what do you think, Coco? Yeah. Chucklehead. Where was I going? That is why I like to get to the animal as young as I possibly can. Hey, Patricia. Hi. So I don't have to counter condition behaviors. I don't have to retrain behaviors. So with Snow, last night on the deck, they're like, she's amazing. And I'm like, I've communicated with her right almost from the get-go. So Snow is 10 months old. Good boy, Milo. That's a capture. Snow is 10 months old. Hi. And she is no longer crated. on a regular basis. She hasn't been for months. She doesn't destroy anything in the house. Hi. And why? Because I try to never let that opportunity happen. And a lot of times you can redirect behavior. That's why we're so huge on enrichment here. I think, thanks Nancy. Hi. I gave her alternate behaviors to do from the get-go. I keep my eye out on I'm always watching behavior because I know how it works. Well, I know how a lot of it works. I'm not saying I know everything. I'm always looking for information. But I'm always watching animals' behavior, even in my viewfinder. The reinforcer for Suki doing that, she's not screaming, she's just talking. Hey, Ashley. Lost that one. Is me talking. Because as soon as this live stream is over, she's quiet. I was just discussing that with Sandy the other day. So, my client that I was talking to yesterday, she called me with a question. And she has this very young puppy. And I told her, these times are so impressionable. Good morning, Storm. Right now. He's a very impressionable dog. Do not hesitate in picking up the phone and calling me. She's a long-standing client of mine. She's been with me for 3 years, and she knows if she needs to call me, she'll text me, boom, and I'll pick up the phone immediately. Why? Because this dog is so impressionable right now. We had a discussion. She was talking about whether she should take the dog on vacation with her or not. And I asked the details on the vacation, and I said, take him. Because you're going to socialize, the socialization he is going to get from all these different travels is going to do him so good in the long run. So anyways, and I told her, anytime you have a question, pick up the phone and call me, because we're never going to get this time back for this animal, and he can learn so much right now. And she has a pretty good understanding of behavior and understanding what she's looking at. So, like with Milo, our potbelly pig, or our mini pig, who's sitting here grinding his teeth. That's his cue to me, like, come on, let's go, let's start some training. Around here, hi. I always say, be your animal's deliverer of awesomeness. Find out whatever is that individual animal finds awesome in their environment, and take some of those and virtually stick them good in your pocket. Take that awesomeness and stick it in your pocket. Awesomeness. And stick it in your pocket. So you can still deliver that awesomeness when you see behaviors or hear behaviors you want to see maintain or increase. Why do you stop talking when Suki starts screaming? Because I feel like I have to yell at you guys. I do that around here often. If somebody starts talking, yelling, what I always say is, I don't want to compete with that. I feel like I have to start screaming and yelling at you guys so you guys can hear me. Around here, when birds get noisy, we just all shut up and just remember what we were talking about and then start it back up again. But around here, noise isn't always an undesired behavior. It may be very desirable for that animal. And as long as we don't see stress induced, As long as we don't see stress-induced, we'll reinforce it. It can get super, super loud here. And as long as everybody's having a good time, we'll encourage it. Mano, I'm going to go back. Maybe it's the new mics. Oh. Hi. So Rico's checking out something. Rock and roll. Okay. That reinforcer has lost its effectiveness, but I'm still working with attention. Right, Rico? You're so handsome. There's a reason I tell them they're so handsome. It's because they are. And the other one is because it's a reinforcer. And it's always It's always the individual animal that determines what the positive reinforcer is. It's not us. We are just the ones that... Hi, Rocky. We are the ones that identify them and effectively or ineffectively deliver them. And when you ineffectively deliver a positive reinforcer for an undesired behavior, that is the number one reason animals lose their homes. Right, Rico? Last night at dinner, so applied behavior analysis is primarily used within... Hi, Rocky. You're quite vocal. Hi, Coco. Is primarily used in the human world. I use it in the animal world. But last night I was sitting down with my nephew, and I was just having fun. We're training all behavior around us, whether we realize it or not, even of people. So every time my nephew would give me a high five, I'd give him a Dorito. And give me a high five, I'd give him a Dorito. Small piece of Dorito. And then I started asking for a high five from the other hand. He was like, He kept going back to what worked. So what am I working with there? Terrible twos? He's 1. Yeah, he's entering that time period. I guess the terrible twos are 2 and under. He's learning. He's learning. And he kept wanting to walk down the steps of the deck, which could be very dangerous for him. So what I was doing was target training him. Boom. High five. What I was doing was target training him and teaching him to station. Because I was giving him behavior. He was giving me behavior that was earning him reinforcement, and I could tell that as long as I kept him there, the more we didn't have to tell him what we didn't want him to do. What we didn't want him to do was go down the stairs. So I was target training. Boom, boom. You touch your hand to my hand, and I'll deliver Doritos to you. So he was hesitating, hitting the second hand. So once he did, so I put myself in a position where it was so easy for him to hit with his other hand. And as soon as he did, for those of you that are in the membership program, I was working with disc. As soon as he hit the other hand, boom, 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 3 Doritos came. And then, so I would ask for the other hand again. He didn't give it. He went back to what he first learned. So when he'd hit this one, just one small one, that's Milo on the tripod, and then I'd offer my second hand. He hit it, boom, boom, boom. I delivered 3 Cheerios, and pretty soon I would ask this hand, and he'd raise this hand and want to hit the other one because he learned that quick that the alternate hand brings higher amount of positive reinforcers. I can't stop. Training is teaching. And I was sitting here working with my nephew last night, and I was like, there's this young, valuable, impressionable mind. This guy could be a rocket scientist. You know, what are we going to do with this? And what are you doing, Chucklehead? What are we going to do with this impressionable time? Does that make sense? Here, what are you doing, Twinkle Toes? What are you doing? Let's get a somersault. Rico learned this at a very young age. He wants attention. I can see that. You do a somersault? 1, 2, 3, somersault. Go! Yay! Nice job! Yay! Yay! I may sound annoying, but he's the one that determines the positive reinforcer, not me. Yay! Nice job! I keep delivering it because it's working. How do you... Woo! Yahoo! How do you know it's working? The behavior is maintaining or increasing. You want to do a somersault? Why am I doing it? Because I can tell he wants attention. He doesn't want a pine nut. You saw I started off with almonds, then I moved to pine nuts. He stopped taking the pine nuts. All right? I kept trying to deliver them. He wasn't taking them. And I was like, why am I keep trying to deliver a pine nut? It's not working. Rico, are you done? Are you done? Yes? So that's why I say build your list of reinforcers. Good boy. Build your list of reinforcers because they're going to change. You touch? You give me a high five? You touch? Good job. Nice job. This is the S and disc size. So in addition to just saying, nice job, I'm clapping my hands, I'm standing up, delivering proximity. You touch? Nice job! Good boy! He's looking at me like, you're an idiot. Why are you acting like that? What do you think? Can I pet? Thank you. Thank you. He wants to hold my hand, and if I let him, I'll be tethered to the cage as well as to the camera. So the almonds stopped working. Then I moved up to the pine nuts. They worked for a small period of time. Then they stopped. Build your list of reinforcers. So I could tell he wanted attention. He's flown to the ground twice now. He's gone up there, and he was starting to pace back and forth, strutting along the rope. I know from past experience where this is headed. So I can get it into my control, under control, where I want it to go. So I stood up, and I could tell he wanted attention, so I asked a behavior. So if he gave me that behavior, I could then give him the attention that he was looking for. Like I said, the animal is always the one that determines the reinforcer. They are also the ones that determine what is a positive punisher and aversive. It's not us. It's them. And it can vary even within a species. That's why I always say pay attention to the individual. This is all. I can't treat my nephew last night. I'm not going to expect behaviors from him that I would from another 1-year-old child, because that 1-year-old child has a totally different environment, could have completely different positive reinforcers and punishers. Obviously, Doritos are a great positive reinforcer for many people because I would love to have the income of the Dorito manufacturer. But, for example, I hate chocolate. I hate chocolate. And every Valentine's Day, well, sometimes, what do I get? When I was in high school and college, if a boyfriend got me a chocolate for Valentine's Day, I used to get very upset because I was like, I'm not the norm. You are not paying attention to the individual. And people buy chocolates in those little stupid heart boxes because it's a conditioned reinforcer. And that's the thing that used to upset me about it, because I'm like, you're not paying attention to the individual. Well, who told you that, Rock? And that's why I used to hate flowers when I was a kid, because people would give me flowers and chocolate on Valentine's Day. And I was like, all you have to do is take me for a motorcycle ride. Let's go for a walk in the park. Give me a bowl of macaroni and cheese. Those are my, those are things. We all know you're not normal. Yes, I know. I know. I asked my mom when I was in the 4th grade, Mom, am I weird? Somebody told me I was weird. She goes, sweetheart, you're not weird. You're unique. And I was like, okay, I like that word. And that's right, Rocky. And now when I'm older, I was like, thanks, Mom. Now I know what you were doing. Another thing. Here's another thing. What is one person's positive reinforcer could be another person's positive punisher. Could be an aversive to another person. Do you want an almond? still a no. I'm trying to reinforce this very desired behavior because it's cute. But when I was a kid, when I was in high school, here's an example, and we're getting ready to talk about this in the membership program. Reinforcement and rewards. Be careful with that one. That's right, Rocky. Hi, Rocky. I'm delivering a different reinforcer for Rocky. I've lowered my tone of voice because I kind of like this quietness right now. Sam. So what is one person's positive reinforcer or one animal's positive reinforcer could be an aversive to another. Good job, Rico. You're so cute. Yeah. My mom used to tell me when I was in high school, never cut your hair. Your hair is your best asset. Do you know how upset that made me? Okay, got a little duration on that one. I think we talked about this in the membership in the podcast. My mom used to tell me, never cut your hair is your best asset. That used to make me so upset because I like to think my personality was my best asset. You know what I did? I'd go pretty much shave my head. And I would come home and Mom would be like, oh, why would you do that? I hate that when you do that? And, you know, in retrospect now, I'm seeing how it worked and how it didn't work. I would cut my hair because I wanted to punish the behavior of her saying that to me. Mom, please look at my my personality, not my hair. But in retrospect, it never changed her behavior because she kept telling me, so I was not using an effective punisher. But because the behavior of me cutting my hair maintained. I did it all the way up into college. What are you thinking, Rocky? So my mom and I were the same way. She told me to cut my hair, and I kept it long for many years. So that is a great example of what one person's reinforcer could be somebody else's punisher. And that's the importance of paying attention to the individual. So, yeah, where do I want to go now? Because I am doing some different things with behavior right now that are really cool, but due to privacy, I'm not allowed to talk about them. And it is working with humans. But I met somebody yesterday who was deaf that found out that I was going to be in close proximity. And the interpreter came up to me and wanted to talk to me, and she was doing sign language with him and then talking to me. And she's like, tell me what you do and why you do it. And I told her I focus primarily on training exotics. I love training exotics because you have to be very clear in what you're communicating, because if you are not, you could be putting yourself in a very dangerous situation. And the wide variety of exotics that are out there are such great teachers. So anyways, Deb, you're almost deaf. My hearing aids come in. Okay. Anyways, I was telling the interpreter about what I do, and I say, if I train domestic animals, I will focus on deaf and or deaf and blind. And the deaf man asked me why, and I said, because it's just teaching a different line of communication. You're still communicating, and it makes me such a better teacher for other people and other animals. That's why I like working with Snow. She can't see me, she can't hear me. She is under 1 year old, and she's doing so many things. So she can climb the stairs, good thing or bad thing, be careful with that one. So I taught her to climb the stairs, so we have to leave a gate up at the bottom of the stairs for her safety. But she's allowed to come up with me when she wants, as long as I'm up there, because I'm always sitting there working with her. She'll go into my closet, tear all my clothes off out of my hangers. To this day, she has stolen one of my slippers, and I still cannot find it. So when she has that opportunity to interact in her environment, I am there watching. I'm not going to tell her no, what not to do, but she's learning. I am there teaching her and positively reinforcing behaviors I want to see increase. So we just did a podcast in the membership last month on working with curiosity as a reinforcer. And so many times people can easily punish curious behavior in an animal. If I see a curious animal, bingo, I get excited because I'm like, the sky's the limit here. And I want to make sure each time they are curious, they're interested. I've got so many potentials of identifying positive reinforcers to work with there. And I want to pair that curiosity with positive outcomes as much as possible, because I want to reinforce that curious behavior. That's what we saw with the crow here. That's what I see when puzzles the giraffe. That's why we're really big into enrichment here. But back with Snow, she's always investigating. She's 10 months old. And there's a difference in behaviors and at the rate of behaviors she gives. Like last night, she knew there were new people on the deck. When she starts spinning like this, I don't like to see that. Depending on what it is, it's frustration, anxiety, nervousness. Those are all labels. But I'm paying attention. A lot of times she's seeking information and nobody's giving it, excuse me, nobody's giving it to her. So this will start. So when I see this, I try to prevent this from even happening. I don't want her getting frustrated, because then that's going to start teaching her, when I spin real quick, then somebody will pay attention to me. I want that behavior to extinguish. I want it to go away. I want it to be gone, because I don't want to see that in her. So the key there is paying attention to when behaviors are likely to happen. Like when RICO, I'm not even going to say his name, flew to the ground. I know what can happen after. So I'm going to try to redirect behavior before the undesired behavior even starts happening. So something else she was doing last night, and my family pointed this out to me because I said I didn't like to see this spinning. And I explained why. When you give people information, they understand and they tend to pay attention and will work with you. So me, my sister, and my nephew were all standing there, and Snow started circling around my sister and my nephew. And she goes, oh, there's that spinning you don't like. And I was like, this is totally different. This is circling you. She, from the best of my ability, she's picking up on your scent. She's trying to, and she will do that, to know where you're going, and she wants to know when you move. So she will continually walk a circle around you, because in order for you to take a step, you have to break that circle and touch her somewhere. I don't know Nicole, but from the best of my ability, she'll do it with me as well. But as soon as I give her direction on where we're going, she'll stop. So I think from the best of my ability that I'm observing from her, she's gathering information. What I do or don't do with that will either bring desired or undesired behaviors. So she will do that around me, and then I will do a stroke down the side, or I'll tell her this means move forward, this means turn around and go the other way. And she'll do it before I even go. What I am seeing is when I give her that information, boom. All she's looking for, she's seeking information. Give it to her. And the more you give her that information, the more desired behaviors I see. So you guys were asking how she found the toilet. She's a curious dog. She's going to find it. Water could have been a positive reinforcer or a positive punisher to her. I made sure when I saw that curiosity with the water, I was like, I need another positive reinforcer to work with her. And so I'm going to pick water. And that is how I taught her to find the shower, get in the shower. Water. Now, imagine working with a deaf and blind dog. So I saw her curiosity with water. So I'm like, I'm going to be as effective as possible with this and make sure water stays a positive reinforcer for her. So I turned it into a positive reinforcer. I'm not just going to take the hose out and blast her. Those of you guys in the snow project saw all those steps I took to get her to what looks like to me really enjoy taking a shower. What does that look like? Standing in the shower with me, letting me spray her and scrub her and rinse her off and dry her off, and she stands there. She's not freezing, but she seems to enjoy it. Now imagine a deaf and blind dog understanding what this feels like. Water coming down around your face. Where is it coming from? You know, and she tends to guide her head up. If that water hits her face, that in an up position, that is a positive punisher. That is an aversive. If this water hits her face coming down like this, it is a positive reinforcer. And that's Milo on my tripod. Does that make sense? I had to shape all of that behavior. And in the snow project, you see how we're getting her to pounce on the pad and it shoots water up. Where is it coming? Right in her face. You guys saw how, I think level 2 membership, we did a nose target with Quincy to get her to punch the pad. So one of the first things I will teach any animal is to target. Nose, hands, feet, back hoofs, rear end. There is a reason. When you have those, that's what I was teaching him with the high five. That's a target. That's what I was teaching my nephew last night. It gives them information. Hey, Diane, I haven't seen you in a long time. It gives them information and it teaches them the type of communication you're working with. When you do this, positive things, desirable things happen as consequences. And that's why I say, be your animal's deliverer of awesomeness. That is what I am. That is what I try to do. When I walk into any room here in the center, most of the animals will run and fly to me. Why? Because they know I'm the deliverer of awesomeness. And a lot of times when I'm working with certain animals, in the beginning, the only thing I have to work with is food, because I am of no, thanks Milo, I am of no value to that animal. So the only thing, hi Rocky, the only thing I have is to pair myself with food, if I'm lucky. I've worked with some that will not eat in front of me, and will not urinate in front of me, and will not defecate in front of me. Hey Sandy. Those are stress and anxiety. So in the beginning, when I first start working with an animal, most of the time the only thing I have to work with is food. But because of this, then pretty soon I become a conditioned reinforcer, meaning I have paired myself 100% of the time, or as much as possible, with that animal's favorite food. Soon those reinforcers start to change, and then you get reinforcers like this. the animal starts working for you just for the opportunity to be near you. And that's exactly what I look for. So I think our hour's up, but a couple of things I wanted to say before you go. Those of you that are working in veterinarians' offices, shelters, rescues, animal organizations, we have started the Animal Behavior Center Support Network. It's a group. If you message me here on the Animal Behavior Center, tell me what group you are in. I'll throw you into that group where you will see a webinar, podcast, live streams to help organizations. If you guys like the information you received here, join us every Sunday morning for Coffee with the Critters at 9 a.m. Eastern. If you want more intensity in that on a weekly basis, take a look at our membership programs and our projects. Our membership programs are about behavior, and it's all relative to animals. The projects are more species specific. We've got the pig project, we've got the parrot project, the deaf dog project, and the snow project. So anyways, I'll end this live stream and go back and see if you guys have any questions. Hopefully you enjoyed this information. I didn't get to dive into pigs as much as I wanted to, so maybe I pick a future live stream specific just to pigs. All right, I gotta go. I have a vulture here for training that would like her breakfast. Enjoy, everybody. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you next weekend. See you guys.